Hey, in section 7.1, we're going to talk about systems of linear equations. So what is a system of equations? Well, a system of equations is a set of two or more equations involving two or more variables. So typically x and y. To solve a system means to find the values of the variables that satisfy each equation. And then if two equations produce lines, the system is said to be linear, which is the type of system that we're going to be looking at in this section. For example, here's a system, y equals 3x minus 4, and y equals negative 2x plus 6. A solution to the system is an ordered pair satisfying both equations. So we want to determine whether 2, 2 is a solution to this system. Now the first thing that we're going to do is recognize that in any ordered pair, x is first and then y. And then we're going to substitute 2 for x. We'll start with this first equation, so 3 times 2 minus 4, and evaluate. And so that's 6 minus 4, or 2. Which is what the y value is equal to. So the ordered pair satisfies the first equation, and let's verify the second as well, okay, because it needs to satisfy both. Negative 2 times 2 plus 6 is negative 4 plus 6, or 2. And again, that is the y coordinate of this point, okay, because this ordered pair satisfies both equations, it is a solution to the system. So what if I did not know the solution to begin with? How could I find the solution? Okay, so one option is to graph both lines in the coordinate plane and to find their intersection if possible. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is to recognize that these two lines are in slope-intercept form, and the slope of the first line is 3, and the y-intercept is negative 4. So on the y-axis, I would go down to y equals negative 4 and put a point, and then we're going to count the slope, which is 3 over 1. So up 3 and right 1, and then draw the line between the 2 points. In the second equation, the slope is negative 2, and the y-intercept is 6. Okay, so we'll first graph the y-intercept at 6, and then the slope of negative 2, that means we're going to count down 2 and write 1. Okay, and wherever these lines intersect, that is going to be our solution to the system. And so it looks like they intersect at the point 2, 2. Another option for solving a system of equations is substitution. And by substitution, I mean we're going to replace one of the variables in one of the equations with another expression. Okay, so the good thing about these two equations is that one of the variables is already isolated. Okay, so if I start y equals 3x minus 4, and I know that y also is equal to negative 2x plus 6, we're just going to substitute this expression for y. And we get negative 2x plus 6 is equal to 3x minus 4. All of a sudden we have one equation that has only x as the variable, and we can solve this and find the x coordinate of the solution. Okay, so we'll add 2x to each side, and that gives us 6 equals 5x minus 4, and then add 4 to each side. So we have 10 equals 5x, and lastly divide both sides by 5, so we're left with x equals 2. And now we know the x coordinate is 2. We're going to substitute that into one of the equations. It doesn't matter which one, and so I'll just use the first one. So y is 3 times 2 minus 4, or 6 minus 4, which is also 2. And then our ordered pair is again 2, 2. A third method is called elimination, and elimination is often used if the equations of the lines are in standard form. You could definitely use it if they're both in slope-intercept form. You just want to make sure that the x's and the y's and the constants align vertically. If the x's were opposites or the y's were opposites of one another, then I would just go ahead and put a line underneath and add those columns together. However, in this case, they're not opposites. The y's are very close, though, because they're exactly the same. So what if I multiplied the second equation by -1? And we rewrite the first equation, and the second equation becomes -2x minus y is equal to -6. And now we can add these together. So we get -5x. The positive y and the negative y cancel each other out, is equal to -4 plus -6, or -10, and divide by -5, so x equals 2. Okay, and lastly, you also have to figure out what y is, and so go back to one of the given equations. Okay, it doesn't matter which one. I'll use this first one, -3x plus y is equal to -4, and solve for y. Okay, so that's -6 plus y is equal to -4, and then add 6 to both sides, so we get y is 2.